AP Physics, page 53, homework, problem number 14. I have this all drawn out for you. I didn't really draw the gun per se, but there's a person standing over here on the left, firing a bullet, hits a target, and then the sound comes back to the person. Total time of 0.731 seconds. So what I did up here to the right, okay, the ones here stand for the bullet going down. The 1 is for the bullet. The V sub 1 is the velocity of the bullet, which is constant. So I don't need to say average. It's a constant velocity. It's constant speed. I don't really care about. It's a straight line, so speed or velocity doesn't matter. This is the distance. So once again, we're just going to deal with speed. It's the distance to the target and the time it takes for the bullet to get to the target. And then for the sound, it's the speed coming back, is the distance coming back over the time coming back. So if I rearrange both those equations and solve for D, so D1 is V sub 1, T sub 1, and D sub 2 is V sub 2 times T sub 2, but the same distance for both. Have the same distance. So therefore, I just substitute in the V sub 1, T sub 1 right here has got to be equal to V sub 2, T sub 2. So this is the key equation here. And then I substituted in the speeds. The speed for the bullet is the 1600 meters per second. As long as the units are consistent, I'm good. V sub 2 is the speed of sound coming back, 330 meters per second. And then the last piece of substitution, and this is not the only way to do this problem, as in many cases there's other ways to do it, but this is fairly straightforward at this point. The algebra is a little tricky, but not too bad. Over here on the left in black here, I have the total time. You add up the time for the bullet to get down plus the time for the sound to get back is 0.731 seconds. That was given in the problem. That's when the person hears the sound because it comes back to his ears or her ears. So if I take this equation here and solve for T sub 2, or T sub 1 then would be the 0.731 minus the T sub 2. If I take that expression, that binomial, and plug it in for T sub 1, I get this expression down here on the right, and now it's just a bunch of algebra. I use a distributive property, take the 1600 times the 0.731 and times the T sub 2, and then I would add the 1600 T sub 2 to both sides, so on the other side I would get like, what, 1930 times T sub 2. Bottom line is if I take and then just divide, you'll figure it out from there. That'll give you T sub 2. You got to figure out how far away the target is. So basically you'd go back up to, say, this equation up here on the right. You know, now that you know what T sub 2 is, once you solve that bottom equation, and V sub 2 is 330, that would give you T sub 2. And you could do some checking, plugging in over here to see if everything is consistent and to make sure you did the algebra correct. But there you go.